I'm hoping that after this video goes live, that other trial lawyers
I hope so.
decide to do this.
This is GrantTalk, hosted by Libby Hikind, founder and CEO of GrantWatch and author of The Queen of Grants.
Hi, I'm Libby Hikind, and I'm your host today on GrantTalk, powered by GrantWatch.com. And I'm the author of The Queen of Grants, From Teacher to Grant Writer to CEO. Sitting with me is Alexis Hyde, and she's the director of the Artist in Residence program that is provided by the Quinn Emanuel
Urquhart
and Sullivan LLP trial lawyers. And we're going to find out all about that today. And you've given out about $20,000 over 4 months. Is that what I'm hearing?
per artist.
For artists.
Per artist.
That's wonderful. And I'm really interested in this topic because I have a minor in fine arts.
Yes, I
That was
love
my
it.
bachelor's degree. And I used to walk around with a very large portfolio and I did the drawings from live models and the sculpting and developed my own photography as well. And when I retired from teaching, I actually spent about 9 months before I built GrantWatch doing stained glass and oil painting.
Incredible. I love it.
So all my creativity is here right now. So let's hear about yours and what your program is doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, the Artist in Residence program with Quinn Emanuel started, it was born out of quarantine. The lawyers, they decided they could still work from home. We had all of this space at the law firm. And I threw out the idea, I've been talking to one of the partners, John Quinn. I've been working on his collection for a few years, and we've been talking about what's the status of artists, like how are they supporting themselves, what's going on, how difficult it is if they can't have shows, they can't have studio visits. So we came up with this idea, what if we put them here in the office? And we wanted to make sure it was something that they'd be able to do and actually support themselves, because art is a job, just like being a lawyer, just like being,
That's right. People don't realize that.
They don't. And so we came up with a nice number, which was, 20,000 over 4 months to have an artist come in and use the office just like a studio. And we had 2 artists at a time in LA. We do it twice a year here in LA, and we expanded last year to New York. And I also have 2 artists in London. And it's all for local artists. So it's the community that supports the firm's local office. So in LA, we have LA artists. In New York, we have New York artists. In London, we have London-based artists. And they just commute to work, just like the lawyers do, just like the associates do. And they come in and they work. And then at the end, we put on an exhibition and acquire a piece for the collection as well. So it's really about supporting our community, supporting the artists directly. And also, it's been one of the side effects that's been really fun is that the lawyers, the associates, the administrative staff here get to see the art as a job. They see the artists come in 5 days a week and working, that it's not just like a hobby after work, having a glass of wine and a little painting, that it's real work. And
they get to pass by the studio, right? And see.
Exactly. Yeah. It's lawyer, artist, lawyer. I mean, they are just in the offices just with the rest of us.
What do you do with the fumes from the oil painting?
Well, I know. We've got the fans and the nice, air circulation, because we have incredible circulation here because it's an office building. It's not, sometimes the artist studios are in, we're so used to them being in some pretty, not more affordable real estate.
I'm very envious because I would love nothing more than to put a studio somewhere in my house, but I have a white couch, so I'm not sure.
I know, right? Exactly.
And I only like to work in oils because oils are forgiving.
They're very
and watercolor, you have to start over.
Watercolor. We had a watercolor. I'm on my second watercolor artist right now, Zoe Walsh, and one of our first artists, Molly Siegel, is a watercolor. And watching her do it, I mean, the bravery. It's really incredible to see it happening in live. Actually, even when as a curator, that's what my studies and my career is. Even as a curator, I don't get to see artist studios as often as I'd like. So even for me, it's a treat to be able to come in and like spend time with the artists and watch them make, and like over, a significant amount of time. And so it's a real pleasure. And it's really nice to hopefully be kind of a vanguard, an outlier of corporate patronage for the arts, to, really show that, it's so much money for an artist to have a grant of this size over this amount of time.
Right, before they sell anything. That's phenomenal to have that.
For large firms and large companies who are making, hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars, it doesn't have to be so much. And, they spend money on, lunches and parties and foosball tables, and this can be another way to enrich your existing staff. So it's a very enriching for the staff here, as well as the artists. And hopefully, and it has been the case, where the artists get to have relationships with the lawyers in a way that can hopefully be like a future artist patron way, where they'll continue to collect, they'll follow the careers of the artists that they're interested in, and then be able to support them further down the line in their practices.
So what if somebody doesn't live in LA or England and they want to participate?
That is our only real big, no, I don't want to say barrier, that sounds hard, but it is one of our guidelines. It is for LA based artists. It is for New York based artists. We are looking into other cities. Well. Yes. And then our London based artists in those offices. It is really about kind of engaging in almost that like similar practice of, you're coming into work, you're checking in, you're clocking in, you're clocking out. Mm-hmm. But we do have other cities up for the firm. So I'm talking to some of the other offices, because now they're a little jealous and they want one too. And so we're talking about expanding it to other offices as well. So hopefully in the future, we'll be having artists in other cities as well.
So how do people apply? I know we have your grant on GrantWatch.
Thank you. Yes, it's I'm trying to make the application as open as possible. It is free to apply. It's over email when the call is open, which you can follow on Instagram. Is usually where it's listed first, at QE Artist Residency, or on our website, QuinnEmanuel.com. We'll announce that the call is open, and the application, I believe, is when it's open. It's just an email form, 500 words about your practice and what you want to work on, a CV, and a portfolio of 8 to 10 images of your work. And then we go from there.
So they have to follow directions, because you don't want to read 5 or 6 pages. You want exactly what you want.
Exactly. It's a hard lesson to learn. I think we all learn it the hard way. I know personally, I was applying for a grant not that long ago, and I didn't read the directions well enough, and I missed the deadline. And that's on me. It's a lesson we all have to learn. And I was off by a few hours. I thought it was Pacific Standard Time, but it was Eastern Standard Time, and I didn't get it in on time. So, and no one to blame but myself. But there has to be parameters. Unfortunately, I know it feels unfair sometimes that, and I think that on most levels, most people are pretty forgiving. If you submit 505 words, I'm not going to count. But if you send me 2,000 words, I'm going to think that you can't follow directions. And I have to think about, what's that going to be like for a working relationship going forward? Is this somebody I can work with who's going to be, when they say, I'll meet you on Wednesday at 10, are you going to be there? Are you going to bring what you say you're going to bring? It seems small, but it can be indicative of a longer term professional issue.
Definitely.
And for our residency, I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of applications. There has to be also a way to start paring it down immediately. And I know it seems unfair to have to, be strict about these directions, but it's not fair all of the artists who did follow directions.
You don't have to apologize at all, because if anybody is subscribing to GrantTalk right there on YouTube, please do that, like, comment, and engage. If they're subscribing, they've heard this over and over again, follow directions.
Follow directions.
Yeah. And so what happens? How long does it take them to know if they're accepted?
It usually takes about 2 months, I believe. It's about 2 months between our deadline and then the announcement of who gets the residency that term. And I try to keep it as faithful to those deadlines that I put for myself as well on as possible. And if there is going to be any changes, I let everybody know that, I know I said by the end of February, but it's going to be the first week of March, just so nobody's in the dark. I think that that's really important. And I'm very fortunate to be in the position where I have the capability and time, as I am hired by Quinn Emanuel, to be able to do that. Because I think that a lot of people also forget that a lot of residencies and grants are unfortunately, understaffed, and a lot of people to communicate to, and that, it takes time to email 300 people.
Right.
And I'm very fortunate that I am in the position to be able to take that time. And I find it really important to be able to do that if and when those situations have arisen. It's only happened like once or twice in the 8 rounds we've had, because I do have to wrangle, juries to get back about their contributions. And
So we have one person coming into one office, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And not 3 offices right now.
Yes. Well, no, right now I have 2 offices. I have London. It's two artists per office. So I have 2 artists right now in London, Abby Joy Samuel and Claudia Yu. And then here in LA, I have 2 artists, Levi Atkinson and Zoe Walsh. In New York, we're actually on pause because the New York office is moving. So we'll get back into that once they're all settled.
Mm-hmm.
But we had 2 artists there last year for the first time, Estelle Maisonette and Cheyenne Concepcion. And that was New York and London are a real perk because they get the nice windows in the offices at the firm. And I guess studios in those areas, I'm based in LA, the studios in those areas are not. Windows are a real luxury. Mm-hmm. So everybody's been really, really chuffed to have access to, sunlight.
So what medium is acceptable?
We accept all. Well, I can't have a glass blower. It is an office. I can't have, you can't come in with like a chainsaw and a, 500-pound block of wood. We do have to be considerate of the fact that we're in an office and people are working and what's safe, fire safety, etc. But other than that, we're open to all. We've had a performance artist got shortlisted recently. Right now I have a woodblock print maker. Like I said, I have watercolor, multimedia, a lot of painters, but photographers, textile working pieces. And, I would love to have a writer in one day. I would love to have a choreographer that might be, but it would be, we're open to pretty much anything that would fit within, I don't know how like ceramics would necessarily work within the office. I don't know how we wouldn't be able to bring in a kiln. So that could be prohibitive. And so, there has to be a little consideration about like the place that the studio is being housed. But overall, we're very open to, we had a digital collage artist recently, Lorenzo Baker. And so we're open to other many mediums.
And how many pieces are they responsible to complete?
However many they want. I don't put a number. We do have the exhibition at the end. So I like to have pieces for the show. I've never had anybody produce less than like 5. But then I had some people who were busting out 30, 40, 50 pieces because they have time and space to be doing. I think Clarice Adelarde, she might have made over 100 paintings. Right. She was the vigor of a 20-something because she'd be in the studio till 4 a.m. every night, right, just painting.
And what happens at the show? Do they get to sell their pieces?
We do try to support sales. I wish I was more of a salesperson or had more of a Rolodex, but we do try to bring in people to come purchase the works. A lot of people from the firm buy, and I do facilitate sales for them. And we take an 80-20 split with 80% going to the artist and 20% kind of going back into the coffers for the next residency to kind of pay it forward. And because the art sales isn't how Quinn Emanuel is making the money. So it's really about trying to give artists as much time, space, and resources as possible to really just make and grow and have that time, especially during quarantine. The conversations we've had about how, there's this misconception of a suffering artist, and like they need to be suffering to be able to make, and maybe suffering emotionally, but like if you're suffering financially, if you're worried about how you're going to pay rent, it's not really a clear, you can't focus. So being able to have that time, it's been really incredible to see what artists have been able to do and how their practices have been able to grow over 4 months.
And to have the space. I mean, I'm thinking about it. That is phenomenal, really.
Yeah.
And go to work and be an artist.
Just go to work and be an artist. And and they have partner offices. They've got the big offices. I was actually surprised. I was thinking that we're going to be giving them, some of the smaller, more administrative offices. And they're like, no, we're going to give them partner offices. And I was like, let's give them partner offices, please. Yes. So they've got space to work. Everybody kind of goes a little bit bigger than they normally would because they have the space. And it's been really a joy. And also because it is so well funded for an artist grant. We've been able to have an incredibly diverse group of people who've been able to afford to do it. Because so many residencies and grants, the only way you can afford to do it is if you can afford to do it. And that
is this set up as a nonprofit organization?
No, it's all through the firm.
Wonderful. They're taking the funds and they're putting it, and they're being patron of the arts. Like it was many, many years ago.
Exactly.
That's how people grew their artwork.
It's a really it seems so novel now, but it's a really old-fashioned model. And it's really nice to see what can happen. And when we can give the artists I keep saying it, but it's true. When you can give artists time, space, and resources to create like what they can actually make. And it's also been fun for the partners, the associates, the staff here, that even if it's an incredible hands-on art education that you just cannot get anywhere else, where like, even if you don't, if it's not your taste in art, it's fine because you do get a new appreciation for how art is made. And now I talk to secretaries and partners that they're like, oh, now I'm looking at art in a different way. I'm having a new way of approaching it because I was talking to Edgar or Tony or one of my artists about how they make, or I gotta spend time in Clarice's studio and like see what she was making and how she was making it. And it's not my kind of work that I would want to necessarily like acquire, which is fine because no art is for everybody, and that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But it gives them a new appreciation of how art's made, like the time, the effort, the research, the the materials.
I love it. Send my regards to your trial lawyers because
I will.
What they're doing, as you said, it's an age-old custom to do this, and they brought it back, which is great.
Bring it back.
Tell me in 30 seconds, what would you tell? Because I want to say to the artists, don't be afraid. Apply. Right?
Yes.
And what would you tell them that they should do?
I want people to know that if you don't get something, you are in incredible, incredible company. The people that I have had to turn away are incredible artists, and you're an incredible company. It doesn't necessarily mean that like you're not a good artist, or it doesn't necessarily mean a reflection on you in any way. It just means it wasn't the right fit at the right time. I say apply again. Like I said, I'm getting hundreds of applications. Apply every single time. You don't even necessarily need to change the application. Keep applying. I'm not going to name names, but one of the artists that applied, they didn't get it until multiple times, and they applied with the same application every single time.
You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that after this video goes live, that other trial lawyers,
I hope so,
decide to do this. How will they contact you if they want to copy the model?
Please contact me. There's nothing I like to talk about more than this. So please, if anybody has any questions, I am Alexis Hyde at QuinnEmanuel.com. I'm on social media everywhere at Hyde or Die, HYDE or ORDIE, which is an old thing I made in 2008, and I'm stuck with it. So that's fine. But Alexis Hyde, HYDE at QuinnEmanuel.com. I am so thrilled to talk about it. I have so many ideas. Even if $5,000 is too much, that is fine. We can you can figure out another model to be supportive, and it will not only make you feel good to be giving, it will absolutely raise the morale of your staff because they feel great that they're included in an art thing. Because also at the end of the day, artists are really cool. It's fun to hang out with them. It's fun to talk to them. It's incredible to see their points of views and like what they're working on and what they're consuming, and just like getting movie recommendations and book recommendations from them. It's such a treat. It's such a pleasure to talk to artists, spend time with them.
It's a pleasure to speak with you. You're really cool.
Oh my gosh, you're the best. This is incredible. The services that you're giving are so vital, because at art school, I'm sure you remember, they don't give us these tools on how to apply and how to engage with these things. And so it's so vital to be giving out this information.
When I was in art school, the criticism, because everybody would sit around and critique your work, sometimes you felt rejected. And here it's the same thing. Don't take it as a rejection. Just keep applying. And I want to see that this gets replicated all across the country, because it's a great model. And that's what,
paste.
We talk about in my book, when you write a grant, that your grant should be replicable. And here it is. You're giving grants, and your program should be replicable. So let's see that happen. We're going to disseminate this all over the place.
Yes.
So send us, please. I just want to take a breath. Send us B-roll of the artwork, because we want to show it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the exact way to reach you, because you might not spell it right. We are going to say goodbye and thank you. And everybody, if you're listening or viewing, you want to hit subscribe. You want to like, comment, and share, so we can bring you more wonderful programs like this. You can see the good that's happening, and something good came out of COVID. Yay.
I know, right? Hey, we can build things. When you have like weird parameters, you could still build something incredible. And it's been really amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to GrantTalk, powered by GrantWatch. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this GrantWatch channel. Please consider subscribing to GrantWatch.com, and you can find the book, The Queen of Grants, by going to GrantWatch.com/book. Thank you again for spending your time with us.